The Walt Disney Company stock is stuck. It's not doing well. We've covered this before, but now we're beginning to ask the question, is it because of Disney World? Remember that Disney World is a huge part of the Disney Company in terms of its profits. In fact, there have been times when the Disney World entity just by itself has been a huge chunk of the overall profit, like 30, 40%. So what's going on when we look at the Disney stock? As you can see here, over the past year, Disney stock has been down 18%. But take a look at this. If we go back to the 5-year, Disney is down 44%, basically 45%. And if we go to the max, when did Disney first become a stock worth $97? How long have you been holding on to this to stay even? It happened around January of 2015. So if you've held this stock since January of 2015, your money is worth less, but your stock is still worth the same amount of that money that is worth less. If you get what I'm saying, you've been holding on to this thing for 11 and a half years, and it's not moved. And now people are beginning to wonder, what is causing it to drop the 18% over the past year? What is causing this? Well, we have some thoughts on that. I'd like to show you the graph on specifically Magic Kingdom, which is the lead park at Walt Disney World. Now, it's actually worse if we look at the other parks. But we're looking here at a much more difficult to see and read chart. So thank you, Thrill Data. We really appreciate you switching this to night vision goggles. But this is what we've got, folks. We're going to go with it. You can see the wait times for Walt Disney World going back many, many years, okay? Going all the way back to 2014. Now, when we start counting is about 2018. And we do that because that's when Disney implemented some of their changes to how they handle FastPass. And then after the pandemic happens, which you can see we have a drop for the pandemic. After the pandemic happens, we can see that Disney returned with essentially the same kind of wait times for Magic Kingdom, and that since then, it has been steadily dropping every single year, including this year. And we correlate that, of course, with how many people are in the park, because the system has been the same since this point, and it was basically the same before this in terms of how they do wait time and how they charge money for you to skip the lines and all that kind of stuff. Using that same system, wait times have been dropping every single year. Now, if Disney World is having an attendance problem, and it seems like it is, we begin to wonder, was this stock being held up the whole time by the Vacation Kingdom? And is Disney in trouble now because, yeah, Star Wars struggles, and yeah, Marvel's not what it once was, except for Spider-Man, which Sony is making anyway. But in the end, maybe it was Disney World doing all the heavy lifting and giving stockholders the belief you're going to be okay. And as the attendance is dropping, Erika, I think some of those investors are preparing to go away. No financial advice being given, but this is not a great look for the Disney stock, and it's not a good look for Josh tomorrow. Erika, what are your thoughts? Erika, you're muted, so make sure you unmutify first.
I need to think on that for a second. Ron, you want to?
Ron, what are your thoughts about the idea that Disney attendance is in a not a good place, let's say?
Well, if you were to go back to the Thrill Data chart, you saw that the wait times were going down. There's a very unusual factor about that. If attendance simply were the same, wait time should be going up because there's fewer rides available right now. There's a lot of construction going on. There are a lot of rides that have gone down, been down, like Big Thunder was down for a very long time. No more Tom Sawyer's Island or Rivers of America or
to eat the crowds, right?
To relieve that. There's no dinosaur, no Dino Land in Animal Kingdom, for goodness sake. I mean, you would think that the wait times in Animal Kingdom should be sky high. So if the ride times are going down, that means attendance has gone down markedly more than just the ride times. If they have any way of propping up figures there, it's simply because they've maybe added more nighttime events that people are paying, additional for to, they go in and instead Disney's doubling down on some of their days where they have people are paying for a day ticket to go into the Magic Kingdom, and then a different group of people are paying for a night ticket. to go into the Magic Kingdom. So that might help relieve some of that financial pressure. And then here's the worst of all of this: Lightning Lane revenue. Lightning Lane revenue has got to be making up for some degree of a gap where the revenue was coming from. But my thought on that is that if they went back to the free fast pass system, people would still use their money. They would just use it in ways that make them happier. If I were a guest and I had a budget and I had to choose from that budget, let's say I had 10 grand to go on my vacation, but I know that I have to spend let's say $2,000 of that to get lightning lanes on top of everything else, right? From my family. That's $2,000 that I'm not spending on food. That's $2,000 that I'm not spending on merchandise, souvenirs. And it's to me, that feels like it would be taking away from the overall experience, especially on the food end of things. I'm a person, not everybody's like this, but I'm a person that when I'm on vacation, I want to experience the food in the park that I'm going to, whether it's Universal or Disney or whatever, because that's part of the overall experience. So rather than just, taking bologna sandwiches to save money and go in, you can do it that way. Nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying that everybody's different in the way that they like to experience vacations. And people might be spending the same amount or less. But yeah, Walt Disney World is a huge problem. People forget how big it is. I think there's like 30 resorts, so people are spending their money there. There are all of these parks, and if attendance is even flat and not going up, and revenue is flat and not really increasing year over year, especially as they're raising the prices as much as they are, there's definitely something wrong.
Absolutely. If we take a look now, if I can go back here, let's see here. There we go. August 5th, big day. I would say that's not far away, eh? But we're reading this from the Globe and Mail. The Globe and Mail. August 5th is going to be a big day here on this channel, here on the Pro channel, Valiant Renegade, etc. Because, well, Disney stock's going to get another report, and you can see that if we go down here, it's not just the numbers that will matter, says the Globe and Mail. Disney kicked off the new fiscal fourth quarter with a dud. The live-action Moana remake has generated just $235 million in worldwide ticket sales since its theatrical release 3 weeks ago, a far cry from Toy Story 5. It doesn't go on to talk about Mando and Grogu, but that's a problem as well. And then it goes on to talk about, well, we're going to get some these movies that flopped on the streaming. Yay! Sure, hip hip hooray. Investors are holding on to the idea that revenue will rise more than 7% to $25.4 billion. But if that's going to be the case, Erika, that's going to be coming from the less people that are in the parks paying way more money to get that 7% increase, because box office isn't great for Disney this year. Where's that 7% increase going to come from? It's going to come from charging crazy amounts for Dole Whips and Mickey waffles and all that kind of stuff. You come into the park, hey, take this. And that's why, Erika, I think the other part is, get ready. I believe that Disney is going to be introducing a transportation ticket that you can pay for if you want to ride the boats and the monorails and the buses and all that kind of stuff to go to the resorts and do your resort hopping. I think they're going to start charging for that. They got to find a way to make more money with less people.
That makes my head hurt when you say that. I think
makes my wallet hurt.
I think the rubber band is finally and it's finally snapping. Raising prices isn't going to solve their problems. They should know this by now. I mean, aren't these smart people? They're all into the stock market, and don't they know math? Or is it just they only know their own version of math and not the American family household math? What we use on a day-to-day and monthly basis. I am so irritated with Disney right now with this. It's just common sense. You can't keep raising your prices and thinking it's going to solve your stock and your problems when it's not. You've been doing that, and how's that working for you? It's not working. Your attendance is getting lower and lower. And honestly, you raise the prices even more. Is that really going to make your attendance go up? And the few that can go, they're just going to restrict their wallets even more while they're in the parks. They'll go to ride the rides. They'll go to stay in the resorts, but when it comes to food and merch, they're going to draw the line there.
And what's interesting is like, going to the parks, they don't seem less crowded. And I think that's because people bunch in certain areas. So if you know the areas to go to in the park, you it's literally wide open. For example, go to Galaxy's Edge in Hollywood Studios, and there's hardly anybody there. And it's
Empty.
so funny. It's so funny to walk from Galaxy's Edge into Toy Story Land, because Galaxy's Edge is so empty, and Toy Story Land can be just like packed. Because that's where the kids are, and they're meeting and greeting with Buzz and Woody and Jesse and all of them over there. The army men come through. You got Woody's Roundup Rodeo back there. You've got all kinds of fun. It's just really, really interesting. So,
well, let's think about that for a minute, though, real quick. Hollywood Studios, why does it feel just as crowded, even though we know it's not? I mean, we've looked at the data on Hollywood Studios. We're not going to do it right now, but well, you remove Muppet Vision. And that's a 400 seat theater that also has a pre-show, which has capacity for 400. Okay, so at any given point in time, 800 people can be in that show. Now, it typically wouldn't be that; it'd be about half full, but that's still 400 people that were doing something. And they destroyed Mama Melrose's, they destroyed Pizza Rizzo. We can think about how many people would have been in those locations at that time. They also replaced Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy with the Villains show that nobody is going to watch. So that's empty. So you start thinking about this and you realize, well, that's why it seems so crowded, is because people aren't able to go to the places they used to be. And so then they're crowded into the spaces that are still available.
Right. They do not have they've got less space right now, very clearly in the parks. Animal Kingdom. A fourth of the park or more is gone with Dino Land being gone right now. And that what was, the Muppets area that's going to become Monstropolis is actually a huge area, not just the theater itself. But again, like you said, there was walking area. There was a shop that, of course, was open and closed from time to time back there, which, by the way, the theming of that was amazing. And they got rid of that, which was the theming of the backstage of the Muppet Show. Was very cool. There's just so many things that they've gotten rid of. And, Disney does get a lot of people at Walt Disney World who have never been before. So they don't all know what they're missing out on. And a lot of people don't even know when they're listening to Laughing Place at the monorail station, which I keep hearing every single time I go now. And I'm like, why did you take this away from us?
Everybody needs a laughing place, yo ho ho. Everybody needs. You know what? It's not a laughing place right now for Disney stock holders. Sorry, Mexican Iron Man. Stock is down, and I got to say, folks, I wonder. Is it because attendance is down at Disney? And if attendance is down, maybe that means Epic is having an effect, and maybe it means that when the box office takes a hit, like it did with Moana and Mandalorian and Hoppers, and they might be really afraid about Doomsday. They're pretending right now that Spider-Man is going to carry them, but I think they have their fears that it could go the other way. Disney World is not the backstop any longer. It's no longer able to save them from all of the other stuff they've been up to. And by the way, Dana Walden, we believe, who is number 2 at Disney and is over everything creative, Dana Walden is about to hyper-politicize this company yet again. So investors, Wall Streeters, get ready for that. I don't think the win is coming. I don't think the wind is going to change at Disney, except in a bad way.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.